The independent panel inquiring into the future of Canberra clubs opened its consultation with you, with the public and interested parties. The inquiry is basically looking for feedback about the role of clubs in the community and also ways to reduce their dependence on gaming machine revenue, on pokie revenue. So we know the ACT government's aiming to get down to 1,000 poker machines here in the ACT by 2045, so in 20 years. Should we be aiming for zero? Or focusing more on how to cut down while keeping that particular sector afloat? Martin Thomas is the Chief Executive of the Alliance for Gambling Reform. Martin, good evening to you.
Good evening, Alice.
Should we be aiming for zero pokies in the ACT?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, the Alliance is not against gambling. What we are trying to do is reduce gambling harm, and there's an awful lot you can do to make these machines less harmful. At the moment, they are just highly addictive, and really no one should lose their house playing the pokies, and that's what we're seeing in many cases.
What can you do to make them less harmful?
Well, first of all, I guess it's important to understand we often blame the victim, but the industry spends huge amounts of money to make these machines addictive. And as technology's increased, used to be the one-armed bandits. Now in some machines you can bet $7,000 in one spin. So they're incredibly destructive as well as addictive. What we can do, though, and it's the recommendation of the Productivity Commission as well as the New South Wales Crime Commission, is to introduce carded play where people have to identify themselves to play, and this will discourage the billions of dollars that's happening in money laundering in machines in Canberra and across Australia. But also it allows people to preset a limit. So if you want to play and you're happy to lose $100 a week, in that week you can play. As soon as you lose that 100, you're locked out for playing for a week. And it just means that you're not making these decisions and chasing losses when you are in front of a machine that is really addictive.
Have those measures been put in place anywhere here in Australia, and how have they gone?
We've got close. It's considered the gold standard by both researchers, experts in the field. Victoria has now introduced it in Crown Casino, and that's worked incredibly effectively. We don't often praise Crown Casino, but it's worked really well.
Yeah, okay.
And also the fact whenever you look at any technology, the industry says, oh, it's too hard or it's too expensive. But what Crown has done in putting it in has meant that it's possible and it wasn't that expensive. Victoria are looking at rolling out a carded play measure in all pubs and clubs. Tasmania almost did it before the government collapsed and there was an election. The ACT has been at various times ahead of the pack looking at this, but we still don't have it, and I think it's a direct result of the power of the industry that is always looking to thwart changes that reduces their fat profits.
Is it worth doing something like that if the aim is to kind of phase out poker machines anyway?
Well, I think it is, because not only is there a timing issue, I think you mentioned in your intro 20 years or such. These machines cause enormous damage every day. In fact, you may picture a person that plays a poker machine as perhaps an older person with a cigarette nursing a beer in a dark corner of a pub. But really, we lose something like $17 billion on poker machines. So it's not something that is just a few people that are losing money, and for every person that loses, 6 others, family members, etc., are impacted. So we should do these measures now. The number of poker machines, look, it would be nice if there was less. It would be nice if there was less venues, because the thing about poker machines in Australia is they are everywhere. You go to other countries and poker machines are largely limited to casinos. And in a casino, you're going there to bet. It's like a destination, and that's fair enough. But if you're trying to stop playing poker machines, the venues are everywhere. You drop your kids off to school and you see them. You do your shopping and you see them, and that's the issue.
There's a bit of focus here in the ACT on how clubs are going to get by throughout this transition, Martin, but should we also be considering how the people using these machines are going to get by and put more emphasis on maybe an educational aspect for them or something? I don't know.
Look, I think we should definitely be helping people within the industry to retrain and perhaps move into other industries if necessary. But I don't think we can say there are a few people and employees that are going to be impacted, therefore we should have these predatory machines that are really preying on people. And the psychology that's used is just quite extraordinary. I read a study the other day saying that if you put blue light in an area where there's a poker machine, the feelings that you have if you lose $100 are much less than if there's a different light in the area where you're playing.
Wow.
So look, there's a lot of voodoo and a lot of deep psychology to it, and it's exploited by the industry mercilessly. So when we just wander in and start playing, the number of people that it gets their hooks into is quite incredible.
So as Canberra goes about this transition of phasing them out, essentially, what do you think needs to be front of mind and involved with this transition, keeping in mind that those that are impacted by the harm?
Well, I think really we need to be thinking about that carded play because that's going to limit harm. Now, certainly a process of reducing the number of machines is good, and that's always good. But to some extent, technology is going to overtake that. The speed of betting online through the phone is almost doubling every year in Australia in terms of wagering on sports, etc. Poker machines are only growing at about 5%. I mean, we'd love it that there was no growth in terms of losses, but I think, ultimately technology is going to overtake any 20-year plan to reduce poker machines. It's going to become largely irrelevant.
This is 666 ABC Radio Canberra. You're tuned in to the Drive program. My name's Alice Matthews, and here with you now is Martin Thomas, the CEO of the Alliance for Gambling Reform, weighing in to the independent panel inquiring into the future of Canberra clubs, opening consultation with the public and interested parties today. You can go in and have a look at that consultation paper and answer some of the survey questions yourself. You say, Martin, that pokies are found everywhere within these clubs across Australia. What do you see clubs' place and clubs' role in a positive sense for the communities that they serve?
Oh, look, they play a huge role, particularly in regional communities, in being the centre of community. But, in many cases, they've been a hub for live music. And it is interesting, I might have misspoken by saying across Australia, because we do have a state in Western Australia that doesn't have poker machines in pubs and clubs. Someone pointed out to me the other day that when they looked at the Triple J Top 100, the number of West Australian bands that are there dominate, and they were making the suggestion that that's because there's still a really thriving live music scene in pubs and clubs over there. So,
and that's been an alternative source of revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's been getting people out to have dinner, to spend a few bucks, and it's really, the opposite is we're seeing in some places across Australia where hotels are really kind of closing down their food and beverage and all that social side and simply putting in more and more machines, and it's becoming such a soulless, devastating destination that, I guess it's a glimpse of what could happen. I think we need to go the other way. I think we need to go back to the social hub to find ways, whether it's the pub quiz, whether it's live music. There are plenty of ways that clubs can survive. They may need a help in transition, but, we'd be happy for even some government funding to go towards that because the impact of poker machines is costing our budgets and the Treasury enormous amounts of money.
Martin Thomas, thank you so much for coming on air.
You're welcome. All the very best.
Same to you, Martin Thomas there, the CEO for the Alliance for Gambling Reform.